And we are back Tuesday Night Live. So glad to be here. Just waiting on all of my friends to show up. October 22nd. Got to wish my brother happy late birthday. His birthday was on Sunday, 32 years old. And Michael, not here tonight. So I'm flying solo again for now. I got to, you guys are probably going to join us. You're probably going to ask about CWD case of Kentucky. You're wondering where Kyle Sams is. I'll get to that in just a moment. But hey, when you're here, I want to see your shining, smiling faces in the comments. I want you to comment. Let us know where you're watching from. No way. Joe, I'm not freezing again. Am I really, Joe? Don't do me this way, Joe. Jim, how am I looking? Am I looking okay? Because if I'm freezing, I just did an internet speed test, and it said my internet is very fast. It said I could run multiple HD devices at the same time. So if I'm freezing, I think Joe's just pulling my leg. And that's not funny, Joe. That's not funny, brother. Let's see here. It's fine now. Okay, you just keep me. If I start freezing up, look, I can show you right here. Look, let me show you something, Joe. Let me show you what I did right before you guys got on here. Let me show you what I did. You see this? Your internet connection is very fast. So if something's going on tonight, I'm going to be angry at StreamYard, who's running this joint, because it's not my internet. So we shall see. But I tell you what, if I start freezing up tonight, boys, I'm just putting my fist through this screen. I'm closing it. We're calling it a night, and we're going to regroup for next week because I just can't do that again. It drove me nuts. Thought about it all night. Thought about it the next day. I can't stand it. All right, let's see who's on here. Jimmy Carroll, my good friend Jimmy Carroll is on here. Talk to him every day. Scott Butler, getting ready for his heart surgery. We're praying for Scott. Jimmy says, looks good so far. It is Gordy Mullen's birthday. If you're here, we got 30 people watching already. We are rocking and rolling. Gordy, bless everybody. Can we all just wish Gordy a happy birthday? Put it in the comments. He wants to see it. Make his night. Make him feel proud to be part of this community. All the way from Ohio. Gordy, happy birthday. We're not going to guess his age. I know he's older than me. He's a well-seasoned veteran. Happy birthday, Gordy. We love you. Tim is here. Tim, I was thinking about you the other day because you were telling me about a different way to tether my tether to the tree when I'm in my saddle, and I need you to send me that video. I know you told me about it. I'm not really a audio guy. I need to see it. Send me that video, Tim. All right, Joe. Thanks for letting me know, brother. Good on my end. I'm good now. Look at that. Happy birthday, Gordy. Happy birthday, Gordy. Looking good, John. Thanks, Gordy. You're looking good, too. Let's see here. He meant I'm not freezing up. Let's see. Anthony says, I won't call you Mike at all tonight. I promise. I mean Johnny Appleseed. Okay. Oh, my gosh. There's a stupid cat clawing at a door frame in front of me, and I'm about to grab the nearest item and throw it at it. It's driving. Guys, I'm telling you. Let's see. Who else we got in here? PK said, I just had seen some post on Fort Knox about CWD and potential bans and transportation of deer carcasses. So, PK, the CWD case was found in Breckinridge County, which is borders Meade County. It borders Hardin County. That's where Fort Knox is. So that's a good question. Let's save that for just here in a few minutes. Everybody's wishing Gordy happy birthday. Do you want me to send you some pictures of the biggest public land buck I've ever seen? Joe, I don't know why you've not sent them already, Joe. I don't know why you've not already sent them, Joe. Send them now. Clear wick, liquid, moonshine. You guys will just have to guess. I tell you what, boys. That's almost a full. Look at that mason jar. This program is sponsored by mason jars. Pretty expensive item nowadays. So it has it all. I want to see it, Joe. Send that picture here. Listen, we're doing this again. If we can get, let me throw that up on the screen again. If we can get 350 comments, I think we can get 400. Now, here's the thing. Is Kelby on here because last week I gave away a pack of Predator calls to Kelby, and they're still in my truck, Kelby. I've not sent them. I'm sorry. I meant to go to I just can't get off work in time to get to the post office or get a haircut or get my license renewed. I got to figure something out. I'm sorry, Kelby. I love you, but I will get those out soon. I promise you. Anthony says, Anthony told a little joke on here. I didn't get it. That's on me, Anthony. I'd hope that had been funnier. It was a reference in you freezing last week and then your apples. Oh, apple spill. Yeah. Yeah. So, man, look, if you saw my Facebook post today on my personal page, part of the things that I do with my full-time job is I am what they call a freight broker. Thanks, Joe. Just got it. So I help companies find trucks to ship their products. All right. So that's what I do. So I have a customer who grows apples. He sells apples to USDA. They ship them to food banks. They ship them to Walmart. All this. This load was going to a food bank in West Virginia. And I think the driver just went a little too fast, missed a curve, just set that tractor and trailer right down on its side. Apples, 42,000 pounds of apples scattered across the land there. About $20,000 worth of apples. And I said, buddy, what happened? Like, I'm glad you're okay, man. His name was, I shouldn't say his name. I'm glad you're okay, brother. But what happened? You want to know what he said? There's too many hills in West Virginia. Just not good enough. I'm like, okay, man. Well, I'm glad you didn't go over one of them because we wouldn't be talking right now. But yeah, so the hills of West Virginia, this guy succumbed to those hills, and the apples are gone. I don't know where they are. They probably just dumped them somewhere. But yeah, that's what I had to deal with. It was a long day. I walked into basketball practice for my girls, found out that there was an accident today. I had to follow up and take care of it. So anyway, that's fun. That was funny. That was funny, Anthony. That was funny. Why are you eating apples? I'm not eating apples. Actually, I eat an apple about every morning and a banana, but not right now. Joe, I've got those pictures. We will show those pictures at the end, my friend. Show them at the end. So tonight, if we get 350 comments or if we don't, we might get a giveaway. I still got these Billy Barnett Turkey Hunting USA Split V. Just look, even all I have to do is hold them up and look at that. I just hold this thing up and the turkeys just come out of nowhere. They just look at that on the screen, ready to go. So 350 comments, get that. Now look, let's talk about the subject of the night. Today, here in Kentucky, some of you not in Kentucky, some of you not in Kentucky, but you hunt Kentucky. Some of you just want to talk about deer. We are so glad all of you are here. And if you're new and you're just sitting there on your phone and you're scrolling and you see us and you click the button and you're listening, but you've not clicked it and you're not on here and you're not commenting, go ahead and do that. Don't be a lurker. Go ahead and click on it. Let us know you're watching. Let us know where you're from. Especially if you're not in Kentucky, especially if you're new, first time joining, we're so glad to have you. We appreciate you being here on a Tuesday night. Like my good friend Gary Kite. Gary is in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and he's watching. Here's what Gary told me. He said on Tuesday nights, his buddies that he works with, they want to go out and eat. And he says, boys, you know it's Tuesday. I got to stay in and watch my show. And by show, he means right here. So, Gary, we appreciate you. And he's sending us some action from Ohio. I see, Gary. We will show that at the end, my friend. If you send me something, make sure you remind me at the end. And so I just noticed something. If you're watching this on my personal page, which looks like there's like 15 people doing that over there. I can see that there on my screen. I don't think I can see your comments. So I saw Gary Gooden and Nicholas Caps over there commenting. Fellas, I can't see your comments on this stream on the side. So I apologize. They were red apples. I saw your comments because I went and looked. They were red apples. Uh-oh. I just about lost you. Dustin here out in them hills of West Virginia. Yeah. Those hills of West Virginia. I still owe West Virginia some money from tolls that I never paid. Hey, Gary's here. He switched. All right. Maybe Nick will come on over too. Better video tonight. Thank goodness, Tony, because I was going to lose my ever-loving mind if I was freezing up. Is our boy okay? So here, back at what we were starting with, is our boy coming on to talk CWD? Now, you guys remember, okay? You guys remember maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I said, look, Mike Collins, one of my best friends in the whole world, he said, he missed a live because he had taken his wife to Michigan for their, not honeymoon, for their anniversary. She's also, her birthday's this week. I think it's tomorrow maybe, or sometime this week. And I just went on like, you can't, if you're a hunter, if you're committed to this life, you can't get married in the fall. What are you doing? It's deer season. It's football season. It's get married in the summer, right? Go to the beach for your honeymoon. Go to Hawaii. Go to Gatlinburg. It's great in the summer, but don't get married in the fall. So we've not fell victim to another guest who got married in the fall. Heck, I don't know when Kyle got married. He is married. But tonight, what has interrupted what was going to be an incredible show, okay? What was planned last week, Kyle Sams. When Kyle got home today from work, his wonderful wife, who I'm sure is Kyle's a mountain boy like me. He's from Pineville. I'm from Harlan. And I'm sure his wife's probably from the mountains too. If not, she probably wishes she was. But when he got home, she's probably a wonderful woman. But his wife and some friends had thrown him a surprise birthday party. Now, it just so happens on the night, a week out from when I planned this show with Kyle Sams, our favorite deer biologist. He's a biologist for the United States Fish and Wildlife Services, or whatever the last word is. Just so happened on the same night he's supposed to be on here talking about a crucial, a critical, a vital CWD case in Kentucky, in one of our best hunting areas in Kentucky. Kyle Sams had to say sorry, but they've thrown me a surprise birthday party, and I've got to go to that. Now, his birthday's tomorrow, so like, oh, let's throw it a day early. He'll never suspect it. And so Kyle is with his family. My kids are in the bed like they should be. Kyle's with his family celebrating his 41st. It's not even significant, Kyle. I thought it was his 40th. I was like, oh, bro, 40. Yeah, halfway to 80, double 20. Like, that's important. 41st birthday. He cut out on us. 60-some people on here right now. Kyle cut out on us because his wife and his dear, beloved friends threw him a surprise birthday party. So here's what we got. You got me tonight. It's just me. I'm not a deer biologist. I'm not even a deer enthusiast. I don't know what I am. I'm just a guy that likes to talk a lot. But I'll answer all questions you got. May not be correct. I may not have the answers. I may have to go find them. But we can talk about it. Or we can talk about anything you want, deer related. And that's why I'm here. That's why you're here. So Kyle, I told him I was probably going to badmouth him a little tonight because he ditched us. But I also said, hey, Kyle, go enjoy your family. I'll probably badmouth you. It won't be that bad. So there you go. He ditched us. Unbelievable. I mean, I don't know, man. I just keep getting rejected. Look, the people are heartbroken. Nicholas Cap's heartbroken. Joshua Sweet, look at that sad face. Unbelievable. Now, Gordy's birthday is tonight. Now, Gordy is a real one. His birthday's tonight. He's not off celebrating with family. He's lived many, many years with them. He's on here hanging out with the guys because he knows where he should be. Good to see you, Josh. WO says, I hate to hear CWD in Breckinridge County. That borders Ohio County, which is very close to our farm. So let's talk about it. If you have questions about this, I'm going. I'm going to. I just saw a funny comment. I'm going to share in a second. If you have questions about this, I'm going to um, take those. We'll share them on the screen. Sorry, I got distracted by Loman. Loman, love him. Love you, Loman. I want to show your comment in just a second. If you got Loman, you've thrown me. You've thrown me, Loman. I'm losing my train of thought here. If you have questions about the CWD, go ahead, put them in the comments. We'll throw them on the screen. If I can't answer them, somebody here probably can, right? All of us, all of our powers combined, we can equal Kyle Sams. We can do it. Yes, it does border Ohio County, which is one of my favorite places to hunt. Peabody WMA, we love it out there. It also borders up there near. I know it borders Meade. I think it borders Hardin, where Knox is. So, man, Breckinridge is a top deer hunting county in Kentucky. So it sucks. But Loman said this: "Hey guys, I just got done watching an illegally held League of Kentucky Sportsmen's meeting. Now, look, if I get on here blasting League of Kentucky Sportsmen, they're going to clip this video and they're going to spread it around because they do that. So I'm not going to tell you how terrible that organization is. I'm not going to tell you how terrible they are and how little they do for people. But apparently they have held an illegal meeting tonight. Now, Loman knows all the rules. He knows the bylaws, the regulations. I'm just a spectator, but this is an intriguing comment to me. So anyway, do with that what you will. Brooke is here, says, "Hey guys, Gordy, understandable." Now, Josh had a question for Kyle, but I think it's a question that we can answer collectively as a group. So, Josh, whatever your question was, I can't remember what you told me today. Ask that question, and we'll throw it on the board. We'll throw it up on the screen and see if we can get that answered. What states does that county border? Breckinridge does not border. It's not an outside. Well, here, let me just pull it up. Take me no time here, brother. Breckinridge does not border. I didn't want to go to Amazon. Come on. Breckinridge does not border another state. I think it's solely in Kentucky, but we're going to look here. Oh, actually it does. Okay. I'm wrong. Not the first time. Maybe the second. Let's see here. Breckinridge County, CW. If you're just joining, Breckinridge County in Kentucky, one of the best deer hunting counties in the state, has had a case of CWD. Now, this was not a case of a wild free range deer. This was at a deer farm. It was a captive cervid, as they say. However, if you watch the Fish and Wildlife meeting today, this deer had been transported out of the farm and back into the farm. And so who knows what it's infected. We're just figuring out. They are testing other deer, but those results obviously aren't crap. Obviously aren't back yet. So you see Breckinridge is here. Now, here's what Kyle told me. Hold on, I'm going to grab my phone. Sorry. Here's what Kyle did tell me last week when we talked about this, okay? And I can't see your comments right now, but I'll get to those. Actually, let me just come over here. You go there? Okay, there we go. So here's what Kyle did tell me yesterday. Not yesterday, last week when we talked about this. He said, I said, hey, since there was a CWD case in Breckinridge, will all of the adjacent counties, so all the counties that border Breckinridge, will they now be in a surveillance zone? He said, basically. So from wherever, if we look at the map again, wherever this case was found, so let's say it was found right here in the middle in Hardinsburg. I have no idea where it was found. They've not released that information, I don't think, but it was a deer farm. So let's say it was right in the middle in Hardinsburg. If you take a circle and you draw a circle, that is crap. I forgot I have touchscreen. Hold on. Oh, hold on. If you take a circle, and I'm using, how dumb am I, guys? Can I just stop for a second? I'm literally using my finger on the screen thinking you guys can see it. That was stupid. let me actually use my cursor. So if you go here and you take and go 15 miles out and you draw a circle that's 15 miles out side of the location site, a 15-mile radius, that is where our surveillance zones will be. So let's say it happened down here in the corner, right? So you're definitely going to get Harden. You might get Meade. I don't know, probably not. But you're definitely getting Harden, Grayson, maybe that Ohio. If it just touches Ohio, the whole county's under, probably not Hancock, but it's a 15-mile radius. Okay. Guys, Hardin County is the #1 deer hunting county in the state every year. Breckinridge is up there. Meade County's up there. Ohio County's up there. I don't know if this is going to cause what kind of effects it's going to have on the deer herd, but it's in a crucial zone. That's the worst part of this is it's in a just the best deer hunting zone we have. One of them. So let's see what you guys have asked since. Let's see. Look at our good friend Billy Barnett. Billy, we if we get to 350 comments, we're gonna give away this split V. And Billy, I don't know. I said, look, they're already showing up, Billy. All I had to do is hold this up. Look at that Tom up there. I got this hen right here, and they can't resist it. Let's see. What's the page name? Our page name, Brooke, is Eastern Outdoors Media. I think it's got a photo of a guy in an orange vest looking out into the beyond. Let's see. Was it found dead or taken by a hunter? So it's a farm. It's a deer farm. I think it was found dead. I think. I don't know that question. I think it was found dead. Let's see. Christopher said was found dead on the deer farm. Perfect. Where did it go when it was taken out? So I don't know. I'm guessing that they took it out to maybe go to another farm and breed more does. I don't know. I've never been to a deer farm, never hunted one. I don't know the procedures. I don't know the operations, how they handle it. I just know today they said it had been transported in and out. So let's say, and I don't know if that's in and out of Kentucky. I would guess it would have to be inside Kentucky. You can't transport. I guess if you have licenses, you can transport to other states. I don't know. But let's say that it was transported in Kentucky. So let's say that they took this this buck in Breckinridge. They had transported it over to, let's say, Scott County to another deer farm to breed does, pass along those genetics. Now, I'm just spitballing here. I don't know if this is what happened. Well, now you got to check the deer farm it was transferred to. So in reality, this thing could have spread CWD like fire, man. Like it could have spread it like crazy. We don't know that. Hopefully it's not. Now I didn't catch all the meeting today. I did hear Rich Storm say, look, we have a chance to really prevent the spread of this, but we might not. We might not be able to. And so here's what I can tell you. The folks at Fish and Wildlife, the reason I wanted Kyle Sams on, he actually helped write the CWD response plan. I can tell you this, they probably won't do everything perfectly for this process. No one does, but they'll do their best. And they will do it with care, and they really want to make sure that two things. One, we are securing the future of our deer herd, and two, we are ensuring that deer hunters still have an incredible opportunity to hunt and harvest quality bucks in the state of Kentucky, both short-term and long-term. I can guarantee you they're not going to do it perfectly, but they will do everything they can to make those two things happen, and they'll do it with tremendous care and thoughtfulness and putting the deer herd and hunters first. I know they will do that. Josh, we'll get back to that in just a second. I want to see what everybody else is saying. It's the beginning of the end of corn piles. That is probably, what do you guys think about that? Let me go ahead and stop sharing. This is probably a true statement. All right. Now, you hear us talk about Antler Builder all the time. It's a product that is owned by friends. It's a product that we believe in. It's a product that I'm going to try to take to my brothers this weekend. We talk about it all the time. We love this feed because it works. It brings in deer, right? And everybody needs a little help sometimes. T-Bone from Bone Collector says, if you're not baiting, you're waiting, right? So this is the beginning of the end for your baiting. It just probably is. Because when this goes under surveillance, these surveillance zones, no baiting. Now, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I mostly hunt public. Like I'm going out to my brother's this weekend, and guess what? I'm going to hunt over a corn pile, and I'm going to hunt with a crossbow. And I'll have zero regret doing that. Doesn't bother me at all. It's legal. And then I'm going to spend the rest of my deer season, hopefully kill a buck this weekend. Not going to be too picky. That daggone cat. Then I'm going to start going to Fort Knox, spend the rest of my deer season at Fort Knox trying to kill a buck and doe there. So I think this is the beginning of end because it spreads through. It spreads through saliva. It spreads through corn piles. It spreads through minerals. It also spreads through licking branches. You can't ban licking branches. Josh just said start food plots. Not everyone can do that. But you need to try. You're going to need to try because you're going to have to. Now, some people are going to love this, right? You got some folks who are like, yeah, ban feeding, ban baiting, because then we're going to grow bigger deer. We're going to kill less deer. We're going to grow bigger deer. Now, if you ask a biologist like Kyle Sams, they hate baiting. They don't think it's good for the deer. They think the deer are able to get their own nutrition when they want. But if you ask the hunter, and hunter satisfaction is important, and we are nothing. Our resources are absolutely nothing without you and me and the 300,000 hunters we have in Kentucky. Maybe more. But if you ask a hunter, most of them are for baiting. So, I don't know. Gary says, hasn't stopped baiting in Ohio, but it has stopped it in the directly affected counties. That's what's going to happen. So the counties that they find a case in, it's going to be banned. It's going to be surveillanced. And if they don't find any more in 3 to 4 years, then maybe, maybe they'll bring back baiting. I don't know. But I don't think you're going to see less cases going forward. We've got 3 cases so far, one in a neighboring county in Tennessee, one in another Western Kentucky county that borders Illinois. I can't think. Somebody type in the county that the other case was found in, please. I can't remember what it was. Caldwell, Callaway, I don't know, one of those out there. And now one in Breckinridge. Ballard, that's right, Ballard. So there's 2 Kentucky counties that's been found, Ballard County and Breckinridge County. And there's going to be more. There just is. I mean, that's what most people think. That's what I think. And, Wisconsin's had CWD for years. Still the number 1 top 3 deer hunting places in the country. We're going to be fine. But we might have to adjust. Mike says it's not fair for kids. Hold on. Where'd it go? Mike says, now you guys respond to this. What do you think? Not fair for kids and such who need an advantage. So I understand that, Mike. I think there's probably going to be a lot that's not fair about it. But in cases like this, and I want you guys to comment. What do you think? Do you think that's Mike's making a fair statement that it's not fair to ban because of the kids? Should you have a modified weekend where you can bait that weekend, or can you try something else? I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Here's what you're going to have to do. Here's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to take all the opinions from the people who say ban all feeding to the people who say who cares about CWD, keep doing what you're doing, and they're going to have to block out all opinions. And they're going to have to make decisions based on biology, based on what works, what they have seen works, what science says, right? Now look, we are all just worn thin with things like follow the science from COVID, right? And all of that stuff just wore us out. Like, we'll follow the science and listen to the doctor. No, we're tired of that. I understand. But I think what Fish and Wildlife is going to do is they're going to look at all the states that have been infected with CWD. And they're going to look at the states that have handled it the best. And they're going to look at the states that have handled it the poorest. And they're going to not do what the states that handled it poorly did. And they're going to do what the states that handled it the best did. What are those practices? What are those plans? No idea. You can watch the video today and you could probably learn more from that than me just sitting here talking. Maybe not. Maybe they've not really, this is just starting. Maybe they don't know yet. But I think they're going to try to do what is best, regardless of popular opinion, in hopes that it will secure our hunting opportunities now and later. So let's see. CWD started with deer farms. It's like mad cow, too many animals in a small area. Look, you got a lot of folks coming out against deer farms right now. Guys, there's like over 200 deer farms in Kentucky. Maybe 150. There's a lot. It's well over 100 deer farms in Kentucky. That was at least like 4 years ago. I saw that data like 4 years ago. I want to say there was over 200. There was a lot. I could not believe the number of deer farms we have in Kentucky. And so, you guys use tinks and you guys use, scrape lure and all this. I mean, a lot of these deer farms are using these deer to create products. A lot of them are using deer to grow and have people come and kill. I mean, there's different purposes for deer farms. There's a lot of them in Kentucky. And so, that's people have that different opinions on them. Anthony says, unfortunately, especially for us who have property and food plots aren't as easy. Right. Food plots take a lot of work. You have to have the right soil, the right pH levels in the soil, the right sun. You have to have a lot of things factoring into those food plots, right? It's easier to put out a feeder. And we all want it easier, right? Corn is easy, helps us. I don't care who you ask. But it could make the challenge of getting those big deer in more natural. I did try my hand at some food plots this year, and they are so-so. I guess I'll be focusing on it hardcore from here on out. I have a property to do so. My hay partner will probably give me grief, but I need the deer. Here's the thing. It doesn't take a huge 30 acres of corn, right? I mean, I've got a buddy in Versailles who puts out like 2 acres of clover, maybe a couple acres of like radishes and turnips for the winter. He kills big deer every year. So, even some of you can do those no shade food plots where you can just literally your logging road can be a whole strip of clover, right? Or some other, easy to grow food in there. So, Christian says, I bait as I do have private land to hunt, but I do not have the ability to have a food plot, right? So, that's what I'm saying. You're going to have to adjust. And that sucks. It's not fair. It's where we are. Tony says, I grew up not allowed to bait in Indiana. So it doesn't bother me, but I strictly hunt public. So my opinion doesn't really matter. So, I hunt public most of the time. My first thing was like PK said early on, Fort Knox is right there near the infected site. Fort Knox is public land. You get caught baiting at Fort Knox, you're out of there, right? So no one does that. So it doesn't really affect that. You don't want to get Fort Knox infected with CWD because who knows what they'll do? Who knows how they'll approach it? They might go in there and just wipe deer out like crazy. So we'll see. Food plots could easily become an overabundance of deer if no baiting is allowed. That's another thing. Kentucky in certain areas, man, in Western Kentucky, dude, there's too many deer. I mean, honestly, like, some people don't like Fish and Wildlife's on the side of Kentucky Farm Bureau. Dude, there's too many deer in Western Kentucky. There needs to be a lot more deer killed, a lot more does harvested, and this will drastically cut that down, I'm afraid. Early season baiting helps pattern deer. I hope they don't ban baiting. Virgil, here's the thing, Virgil, they're not going to just ban it tomorrow. They are. If you live in Breckinridge County, you can guarantee you won't be baiting this year. Now, if you already have corn out, if you already have minerals out, I don't think they're going to make you go back and clean it up. They talked about that today. Dr. Robin Floyd from the 1st District was like, hey, look, last time we found this, we didn't go back and make people clean up their mineral side. It just doesn't make sense. I don't even know if you can completely clean it up. We didn't make people go back and pick up their kernels of corn. Like, let it play out, but no more. So if you're in Breckinridge and you have corn out there right now, buddy, you better be hunting this weekend because you're not going to be allowed to put any more out. Same for minerals and everything else. And it's too late to get food plots in, so there you go. PK says he hunts public, not worried about it. Baiting is definitely an advantage. However, it will also teach kids to become better hunters. The adults can start teaching kids how to scout. It's harder, but in the long run, they'll be better hunters. Don't get me wrong. My son knows nothing but hunting corn piles right now, but I also believe he needs to know how to go to public and be successful. You know, in a time where we need youth hunters, so you don't have to just worry about the health of the deer herd moving forward. You have to worry about the number of hunters we're going to have and be able to recruit and retain moving forward. Now, you got some guys out here who have a stick up their rear end who say, we need less hunters. Public land is overcrowded. Well, listen, you walk up to 10, 12-year-olds randomly, 8 of them are not hunters. Right? I mean, there's just a lot of kids. Now, in certain pockets, you know, if you have really rural farm areas, maybe, or out in the mountains, I mean, hunting's kind of it's really cultural. But if you just go, like I used to teach school in Fayette County in Lexington, it was very rare in a room of 25 kids if more than 2 hunted. Right? Never, I don't ever remember having a girl in class that hunted. And we need girl hunters. And I sometimes I'd have 1 or 2 boys who would hunt. Now I had them whose dad would hunt. They go on the weekends. Whose papa hunted, but dad didn't. Now grandson isn't. We need youth hunters. We need to grow a future of hunters. So that is important. So, you know, there's a lot of factors here, like I said. Loma says, we may not agree with everything, but Fish and Wildlife works very hard to protect the future of wildlife conservation and educational projects. They do. And look, they get a lot of haters. That's fine. They're in the public eye. They're a public organization. They work for the public. They're going to get people who criticize them. It's just part of it. But if you get to know those people, you're going to find out pretty good people. And they care about what they're doing. They care about their job, and they do their best. So hold on a sec. Boy, I'm talking a lot. But I love it. I'm having fun. Let's see. WO says it's not just corn. It will be all baiting. Mineral supplements, Antler King. Yeah, all of it. Yeah, it is. You're right. Minerals. It's going to be minerals. It's going to be corn. It's going to be wheat. Anything you can lay on the ground supplementally is gone. Anything that you can grow organically can stay. That's pretty much the two buckets we have in. One, if you can buy in a bag or a bucket and pour it out, you can't do it anymore. If you can grow it, if you can plant it and grow it, you're allowed to do it. So, you know, that's just where we're going to be. If anyone thinks baiting is easy, come put 200-300 pounds of corn every 2 weeks in these mountains. Yeah, I mean, it's a different world out there in Eastern Kentucky for sure. But it definitely helps. Most every hunter ought to have established mineral licks that should last a lifetime. Right? You're not going to be able to add to it if it's in your county. Now, most of the state, we have 120 counties. We've had 2 counties that had CWD in them confirmed. And we had a neighboring county, a bordering county in Tennessee that had a 3rd case. if you cut off, basically, if you go Louisville east, anything from Louisville east is good. So what is that corridor? 71 maybe going down there. Anything there east is good. So most of the state's good. Even the southern part of the state's good. Like the entire southern part from Lake Barkley, from the lakes over to Pikeville, is good. But eventually, we're going to have more cases, I think. And if it happens to your county, this is what's going to happen. Got my first doe last Friday on my property. If I'm blessed to get another one, I'm going to donate Kentucky Hunters for the Hungry. That's a great cause, Rob. If you, just like Rob, if you over harvest this year, if you kill a few does and you say, look, I can't fit it in my freezer, I can't fit it, anywhere, I don't have room for it, take it, go to Kentucky Hunters for the Hungry. They are always in need of more food because we have people in Kentucky who need that help. They need help with groceries. Guys, food is outrageous right now. It's absolutely ridiculous how much groceries cost. And so this is going to help people who are struggling to put groceries on the table, and they're very thankful for it. So look that up. Go to Kentucky Hunters for the Hungry. Find a local processor near you. Cost you nothing. Take it, drop it off. They'll donate it for you. Very easy, very good thing to do. Tommy says this is just the start of it, depending on where this deer came from. There you go. That's the thing. Let's say this deer was in a deer farm in Pike County, the most eastern county we have. And then it spent time in Somerset, Pulaski County, a great deer hunting county. And then it spent time in Scott County. And it spent time, who knows? That's the biggest worry, I think, is where has this deer been? Where has it been infecting other deer? And maybe it hasn't. That's the hope, right? Beaver says, anyway, how's everyone hunting? I'm watching several good bucks on the farm, but waiting for next weekend to go. Grunt and horns should be like candy to a baby. Had 4 studs carry over last year because the combine broke, meaning corn was up all rifle, and those big guys stayed in the corn mostly. When I seen them out of the corn, they was running does too hard to get a shot. Only ended up one good 8-pointer, but nothing compared to what the farm holds. So look, I have tried rattling and grunting before, and I will go ahead and tell you that it didn't work because I'm probably very terrible at it. Okay. Probably grunt too much, too loudly, too long, not enough. I don't know. Rattling, I just don't know when to do it. I don't know how far apart I should do it. I don't know, so the cadence of the rattle. What do you guys think? Are you guys, in your experience, and we'll get back to CWD if you have more questions, but we like to switch it up. Do you guys like grunting and calling deer? I heard a lot of people use it. A lot of people say it works. I'm going out this weekend. Heck, I might grunt every 10 seconds. I don't know. Whatever I feel froggy enough to do. But what do you think? What's your take on that? Does it work for you? Some people say, oh, it just scares them away. I don't believe that because I've seen people be successful with it. Some people say, that's how they've killed their biggest bucks. The thing is, there's so many ways to be successful deer hunting, right? Like you can, like I said, I'm hunting over a corn pile with a crossbow. Like I am those public land bow hunter only. I am the worst of the worst this weekend when I go out there with corn on the ground, crossbow in hand. They think I'm awful. But guess what? The next weekend, I'm going to public land with a saddle and a compound bow and a fixed blade broadhead. They'll think I'm the best, right? So there's so many ways to kill a deer, so many things that work. We like to know what you do because maybe we can learn from each other. Julie says, Julie, good to have you back. I think you missed last week. She's up there in Canada, just a hunting phenom. She shared pictures of her mountain lions she's killed, and elk she's killed, and deer she's killed up there in Canada. Makes you jealous. Makes you jealous we don't live in Canada until you listen to Trudeau. Like you don't live under that guy. But wish we could bait in here in Alberta. It's a huge no-no. I mean, there's a lot of places where baiting is not allowed. James says, yeah, all of our food plots this year fell apart due to the drought. Pinch point hunting this season for sure. Dude, that's, I hadn't thought about that, James, but man, we went a while without rain, and it hurt. It hurt. Even in my job, where, like, if you were on here at the beginning, I talked about this truck I hired to haul apples. It turned over $20,000 worth of apples, 42,000 pounds of apples scattered everywhere. What a nightmare. But there's guys I work with who they specifically hire trucks to haul watermelons. And some of them lost a lot of business because the watermelons just didn't grow like they normally do. So, no baiting will cut price of leases. Okay, that's true. If you're a guy who likes to lease land, they cut baiting. You're going to have a lot of out-of-state hunters say, nah, I'm not going to pay $2,500 to lease that land in Kentucky this year, because I can't. They don't have time to come up here and put in a lot of work. And I'm not bashing them. It sounds like I am, but I'm not. It's easier for them to put out cell cameras, put out corn, and hunt. They're not going to do that if obviously they can't bait. It's going to be hard for them to pay that much for a lease. Blake says, definitely need more youth in hunting. That's the future of the sport. Absolutely, Blake. You are absolutely correct on that. Anthony says, no-till food plots suck. Just his personal opinion. Tried it. It sucks. Now, look, here's the thing. Like I said, it's the same as calling, right? Some people say, man, I'm never going to call. That's useless. It runs them away. I'm not going to do that. Some people love it. Some people say, I'm not doing those no-till food plots and all that mess. It doesn't work. Some people, that's all they do. So maybe Anthony's just not very good at planting them. I don't know. He said you at least got to rough up the dirt. Yeah, you still got to do some work. Like, you still got to drag it. You still have to really tamper it down, get in there. I tell you what, me and Mike Collins tried putting one in one year. And before we got enough rain to really get that seed there and get it planted and growing, the turkeys just ate so much of the seed that we had put on the ground and broadcast out there. They really ruined it. But yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it, Anthony. Absolutely. Hey, Chris Creech is here. Chris, we need to talk before I go back to Knox, brother. I need a game plan. I've got to close on a buck, whether it's with a bow or a muzzle loader. I've got to close on it. I'm hoping for both. We need to talk here. Hope you're going back. Bub is late. Guys, Bub has just been MIA ever since deer camp that he was supposed to go to. He didn't show up. And he's got this new job, and he's got this young girlfriend, and he's got these rambunctious kids, and he's got these political fights on Facebook with the police chief of Wheelwright. This man doesn't even have time to lift his head. So I'm so glad Bub's on here tonight. He's he's a good feller. He lets me down quite a bit, but he's a good friend of mine. I've not heard from you much, Bub. Not heard from you. No text, no Snapchat, right? Yeah, I'm 37 on Snapchat. It's embarrassing, but I'm there. Okay. Julie said, I got my first taste of baited hunt 4 years ago in the States. I felt like I was cheating. Uh-oh. She's calling you guys a bunch of cheaters. I was raised, you walk, you stalk, you have patience and enjoy the wild, and builds up your feelings of accomplishment, knowing you put in the effort for a harvest that you're on. So Julie is like, I feel like I was reading something about, what's the guy's name? The Canadian. Y'all tell me his name. What's his name? The tall guy. His wife sadly passed away. He's Canadian. It's right here. It's right here. Anyway, yeah, you stalk, you walk, you stalk, you have patience. I can walk and stalk, Julie, but I don't have much patience. I got to be honest. My wife would love for me to start hunting over bait. Yeah, she don't want you out there as much. But then once you're home more, Josh, she's probably gonna say, you know what? Let's start public land hunting again. Off topic, but what happened to your apples? Hey, what do you mean? Like, what happened to the truck, or what happened? Like, what did they do with the apples? I don't know what they did with the apples. You can't sell those apples. You can't say, "Hey, here's $20,000. You owe us $20,000 for these apples that were scattered across the land," because they're probably bruised and beat up. Hopefully, they took them. Sometimes when that happens, Chris, they take them to like a food bank or a homeless shelter, or something like that, um, where they give them away for free. They did say on the live feed today, if you're in those areas, have established mineral site, they aren't asking you to cover it up. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I saw that too. Um, Bub's on his way home for 2 weeks of hunting and campaigning. I shouldn't just say Bub Tackett. I should say City Commissioner. City Commissioner Bub Tackett. That's who that is. Michael says, I only grunt at deer I can see, and I blind rattle every hour or so. Okay. So if you see a deer and you are grunting, what is that cadence like? Is it a soft every 20, 30 seconds? I actually saw a guy on TikTok doing that, and this buck was walking. The guy grunting. Buck kept walking. Like 20 seconds later. And then all of a sudden, the guy didn't grunt anymore. The buck just stops and turns around and starts walking back. I was like, oh, that's cool. Never had that happen to me before. I'll tell you what happened to me once. I had sat down. I was hunting off the ground. This is when I first started hunting. Didn't have a clue what I was doing. I still don't really, but I know much more than I did then. And I was like, well, it's early November. I'm going to grunt and see what happens. People say it works. I don't know. So as soon as I grunted, literally at the same time, a buck grunted and came up the hill. So my grunt didn't bring him in. We just coincidentally grunted at the same time. And guess what, though? Man, he saw me clear as day. I still actually got a shot on him. I didn't shoot. I screwed that up too. But that's like the only experience I've really had. Mark Lilly said he rattled in his son's deer last year, and that's a good deer, I'm pretty sure. If I remember, it was a great deer. Blake says, have had luck with a lot of younger, smaller bucks responding to a grunt. Okay. All right. Personally enjoyed it more before baiting. I scouted more, spent more time applying myself. I would not be very disappointed if it was banned. All right. All right. PK says, John, just keep doing it till one responds, and then just remember what you do, like times and dates and sequence. Okay, that makes sense. Bub says, I've been successful grunting and calling a deer in these mountains. Look, you guys are saying, hey, I've grunted a deer in. I've done this. I want to know how. I want to know how you do it. Okay, are you just like, what does it look like? Are you being aggressive? Are you being soft? Is there a rhyme and rhythm to it? Or are you just randomly grunting, randomly rattling? I don't know. My hair is sticking out. Let's see. Rattle as it's breaking daylight right after that. I feel like I'm way behind on. Oh gosh, I'm way behind on comments. I'm sorry. Snort wheeze. All right. Now I've heard people do that with just like their nose and whatever. I can't do it. But that seems to be like, you got a buck walking away this time of year, like between now and Thanksgiving, I guess. You snort wheeze. That seems to be the one that stops them in their tracks. Snort wheezing. I can't do it. I can try, but I'm not going to in front of you guys. I don't want to be laughed at. Deer loves apples. I know where they can find some. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, Jim Shockey. That's his name. I don't know why I couldn't think of that, Daniel. Jim Shockey. One of my favorites to watch, by the way. One of my favorites to watch. Virgil says he's killed a few bucks using the doe and estrus bleat by Primos. Little green can, turn over, right? You turn it over, you put your finger on it. I have one of those, Virgil. I've used them a couple times. Never had a buck come in. I always think it's too gimmicky. I'm like, man, there's no way this thing works. But Virgil, you're not the first person who said they work. Can I just give a shout out real quick to my internet being strong tonight? Can we just say it was around this time last week where I was losing my ever-loving mind because my internet was going out. is out in there tonight, right? I made sure I told the girls, look, you're going to bed early, no TV, no phone, nothing that uses internet at all better be coming for your rooms. They're both asleep. So where's Mike? Mike's been crazy busy. He is, he took the trip with his wife, which I gave him a hard time. I'm glad he did. Then he is coaching basketball on Tuesdays, and so he's just had a hard time getting here. Hey, you got me, Chris. You got me. Mike will be back. He misses you. He loves you, I'm sure. This is what I was going to ask earlier. So buck decoys are very effective. Now, when is the time? So you see my hen here, right? You see her. Now over here, I can't show you. Over here, I can't show you because I just have to turn everything around. Is my deer decoy. It's just like this. It's made like this, and it looks very real. My deer decoy that I can stick in the ground. And listen, if you just like drove by this thing, you would be like, is that a buck? It looks very real. So when I go out to my brother's this weekend, I would absolutely love to stick this thing right near the corn pile because he's got some bucks that when other bucks are in the corn pile, guess what they do? Boy, they come in there and they run them out. So I would love to put. I didn't see that, Steve, but you just caught my attention. I'll talk about that in a second. I would love to put this decoy in near that corn pile, maybe give a little grunt. I don't know. And if a buck sees it, I'm telling you, if one of those bigger, older bucks comes in there and sees that decoy, he's coming into that corn pile because they are very protective over it. So is now a good time? Billy said buck decoys are very effective. When are buck decoys very effective? Joe says from Halloween to November 10th, then switch to doe decoy. Now, Joe, let me ask you something. I'm going to Josh's this weekend, the 25th, 26th, 27th. Not quite Halloween, but is it close enough? What do you guys think? Should I use the decoy? Because I think, first of all, it would just be a blast to maybe I want to put a GoPro up and watch. I want to watch the pile with the decoy, and I want a deer just to come in and ram that decoy so I can send that to my buddy who made it, and he can use it because I'm telling you, it's very realistic. You guys you've seen it sitting behind me a couple. Okay, so you guys have caught it. Now it's Josh's land. He might be like, man, you're not going to use that decoy. It's going to mess something up, something stupid. But if he will let me, he has to work. I think he has to work that evening when I go hunt the evening. So if he's okay with it, I'm going to use that decoy. Should I put it? Okay. So like I said, they're very protective of the bait pile. Should I put the buck near the bait pile, like facing the bait pile? What should I do? Just don't shoot it. I won't shoot it. I won't shoot it. Unless I get bored, Chris, then I might. Should I put it like in the bait pile where if the buck sees it, it's going to come in? What is an effective strategy? This is a good conversation. This is literally a conversation I'm going to use this weekend. Try more than once. Yeah, I'll try. With that eye roll, you can always hunt public. Shut up, Josh. Josh is excited for me to come down. All right. He knows he can't wait. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show up late Thursday night because I have basketball practice till 7:30. I'm going to we're going to hunt early Friday morning. We're going to hunt Friday evening. We're going to hunt Saturday morning, hunt Saturday evening. We're going to rent and watch the UFC fight Saturday night. Wake up Sunday. If I've killed 2 deer, I'm going to go home Sunday. If not, I'm going to hunt Sunday. So there you go. There you go, Tony. Tony said, do not drink out of the mason jar or you may shoot the decoy. But I got all kinds. I got the turkey, Tom the turkey. I got the hen. I've got, I don't know why I turned it around. It's the same. I got the squirrel with the nut in its mouth. That's like a real peanut. I've got a black bear. I've got a buck. What else do I have? I got broke that rubber band. Some doves. I got them all, man. I've got all the decoys here. So, Goebels Outdoor Decoys, I think it's called. Look them up, dude. They are the real deal. They look great. He does a great job on them. Are we doing pictures tonight? Sorry, Anthony. Anthony's been a little testy tonight. Anthony's been a little. Oh, I don't like the no-till plots. Call me Johnny Apples. Like he's been a little. Must have been a long day at work for Anthony. But yes, let's look at the pictures. If you sent me photos, let's get to them. Anthony's got to go to bed. Sorry, Kyle Sams didn't show up, by the way. If you know Kyle, tomorrow's his birthday. Here's what you want to do. If you're friends with Kyle Sams, tomorrow's his birthday. So when you get on Facebook tomorrow, say happy birthday, Kyle. And then say something about missing the show. Like, happy birthday, Kyle. Missed you on the show last night. Let's try to make him feel bad. Okay. That's what I like to do. Heard it was this. Oh, someone sent me a. Heard it was this guy's deer farm. Okay, I'm not going to blast that guy if his deer has CWD, Chris. But I'm glad you sent me that. It's good to know. Let's see what we got on here. Oh, now the pictures are coming in. Joe Carter started the show. Okay, Joe Carter started the show and said, "Hey, do you want to see the biggest buck I've ever seen on private land or public land?" I think that's how he said it. So you guys probably hear those pictures coming in. Now I'm trying to get to all of them, fellas. Oh boy. Holy cow. This buck. Joe, did someone kill this buck or is it still out there? Because if so, I'm taking all my time and putting it on Daniel Boone National Forest, which is 700,000 acres, right? You know, some people would get mad if I showed this buck was on Daniel Boone, even though it's 700,000 acres. Heck, they couldn't even find the I-75 shooter on Daniel Boone. It's not funny, but the guy was right next to exit 49. They couldn't even find him in Daniel Boone. So your neighbor killed this one. Okay, so I can talk about it all I want. All right, guys, look at this. Holy cow. This is on public land. Looks like this thing came from a deer farm. I'm really impressed. Look at that. Holy. How big do you guys think that deer was? Joe might have the answer. Joe, don't say it yet. What would you guess at that deer's score? My Lord. I mean, I usually don't even have a reaction to these bucks, but goodness gracious. That thing's incredible. That's last year. Okay. Joe, did you send me an updated photo, like a one where the guy killed it? Did he get it scored? Good grief. What do you guys think that deer would go? I'd be shaking. I'm shaking looking at it. I'm slobbering right now, James. I want to look through the rest of these photos. Oh, yeah. Here's a picture. Goodness. Joe, why have I not seen this? He killed it this year. Why have I not seen this? I'm just as shocked, Joseph. Hold on a second. Let me find this other picture of it. Oh, yeah, there it is. Holy cow. My goodness. Looks like he put an excellent shot right behind the shoulder, too. Okay, look at this. Kelsey says, I would die. Kelsey ain't seen nothing. She ain't seen nothing this week. Let's see. Look at this, guys. Kelsey, you might die. You might want to not look at this. It's a little blurry, I feel like. Jeez Louise. Look at that. Joe, you've been holding out, man. You figured Mike shared it. You can't trust Mike. Joe, you got to give it to me. I'm the guy in charge, Joe. Guys, look at that. Today's Daniel Boone's birthday, one of my favorite men in the history of the world. Look at that. What do you guys think that? Now, Joe probably knows what this scored. Go ahead. Type it in the comments. What do you think this scored? That's incredible. Joe, I think this is the nicest buck we've ever showed on here, honestly. I'm trying to get this picture where it looks a little better. I think it's the nicest buck we've ever shared on the show. No, there it can't be less than 190, Daniel. It can't be less than 200. There's no way it's less than 200, right? Anybody think that's less than 200? I'll zoom in more, but it gets a little blurrier when I zoom in. It's a long picture, like it's vertical, so it's hard. Look at that sucker. Just got it last weekend in Rowan County. Rowan County. Gosh, do you know, guys, listen, for all the turkey hunter, turkey camp guys here, this deer is probably off some land that you turkey hunted during turkey camp. Dwayne, Joe, I gotta know where I gotta know. He's the biggest buck he's ever seen. Joe, do you know where it was killed? Like, I'm not asking you to give me a pin, but I'm just curious if it's in an area where we've actually been, where we've actually turkey hunted out there for turkey camp the last 2 years. Yes, is out. Yes, he does know. Okay. So, Joe, do you know what this buck measured? He just killed it last Thursday. Rowan County, Daniel Boone National Forest. You don't know what it measured. A lot. How about that? Definitely a lot. Now, look, this is a perfect buck for Buckmasters to score because of that spread, right? So your Boone and Crockett doesn't measure the inside spread. I think maybe I got it backwards. I don't know. I'm not a scorer. Joe, you took Mike there. Well, you know what? He missed out, didn't he? Oh, Michael missed out. So, man, Dwayne, it wasn't you that killed this, was it, Dwayne? Dwayne knows all these secrets. He's acting a little shady here. Dwayne, are you the one who took this deer? All right, I won't turn that off. Good grief. Good grief. Joe, you've made my night. You've made my night. So this guy's had this thing on camera for a long time, right, Joe? Or maybe not. Maybe those are pictures. Maybe those are older pictures you sent me. Let's see here. Now, if you're going to recover a deer, here's the way to do it. This is Rob's. Rob killed this on his own land. First deer he's gotten off his own land. Congratulations, Rob. It's nice to have your own place where you can kill a deer, go get it with a four-wheeler, take it back, do your thing. Man, I love that. All right, let's keep going here. Y'all need to interview this guy if he will talk. Sure. Absolutely. We'll talk to anybody, buddy. Long as they won't bail on us like Kyle, right? Like my old buddy Kyle Sands. Let's see here. I'm going to share. Now, here's the question, okay, guys? I think this is a good question. I think you're really going to have to think. Would you rather kill the buck that I showed? All right. Would you rather kill that buck, just a massive monster buck in Daniel Boone National Forest, which makes it even cooler? Or would you rather kill this? That's not the biggest elk I've seen, but it's big enough. And it's out of the elk zone. Which one would you rather have? The elk in that picture, not a big 8x8 Hurley Combs elk. This elk in this picture, or that giant buck. Gordy, I know it's your birthday, but you can't say either. You got to pick one. Wow, the elk is winning. I really thought people would say the buck. Virgil said the buck. Okay, we were about mixed. Chris says elk. Gordy says either. Gordy cheated. Gary says elk. Joe says elk. Jonathan says elk. Chris says elk. The guy who sent the picture says the buck. He would trade the elk for the buck. Probably knows he's never going to see this elk in daylight. Julie says buck. She's killed both. It don't matter. Virgil says the buck. James says elk. PK says whichever shows. You got to choose one, PK. Anthony says elk. Yeah, the elk is going to provide, my eyes itching. He's going to provide more meat, better food. That's all cool. But you see that buck? Good grief. Did you see that thing? I'll say the deer. Yes, the deer being in Daniel Boone National Forest. One of my favorite places, honestly. I love hunting the mountains. I love going to Harlan, hunting the mountains. Black Mountain, tallest point. You guys out in Pike County and Knott County think you guys have mountains. Harlan is where the mountains are, right? The tallest point in Kentucky. Black Mountain, my favorite place in the world, probably. I've not been to all the world, but probably my favorite place. Totally forgot what I was saying there for a second. But so Daniel Boone, part of that is in Eastern Kentucky in the mountains. Just makes it a lot cooler for me. Elk, Gary says the deer. Jeff says elk. Buck, I don't have an ATV. Yeah, so if you kill the elk, it's a lot more work, of course. Josh says buck. Justin says buck. Paul says buck. Elk. Gordy says elk. That is a Kentucky elk. I ain't going to tell you where it's at, but it's not in the elk zones. Now, if you know the rules, you know the regs, if you have an elk showing up not in the elk zone, you can treat it like it's deer season. You can't bait it. Yeah, I mean, you see the picture. But he's not baiting it. The elk he didn't know the elk was there. He didn't know the elk was there, just showed up. Kelsey says buck. Chris says whichever one walks out. You can't do that. That's cheating, Chris. I think, see, that's what I'm thinking too. Okay, bub. That's what I'm thinking too. That's my approach. I'm taking the buck because I'm never going to see another buck like that. I'm just not, especially in Daniel Boone, especially public land, never going to see another buck like that. I feel like before I die, unless the Lord calls me home soon, and he might, I feel like I'm going to have a shot at an elk sometime. I'm not going to miss. That was too much. That was a dig at my good friend. I'm sorry. I love you, Mike, so much. But I feel like at some point in my life, I'll have a shot at an elk. Never ever going to see a buck like that again. So that's kind of where I'm at. You know what, Anthony? You're right. We should have got to these pictures sooner. But hey, it's 10:13. I feel like we just started. We still got 45 people in here. What if you find something bigger? Oh man, I just don't think you can. Do you think it wasn't legal? Okay, now I'm confused. I don't think you'll see one bigger than that, PK. Do you think it wasn't legal? I'm not sure what you mean, Joe. I'm not sure what you mean, but let's find some more pictures here. Joe, what do you mean? What's not legal? I think the buck was legal. Heck yeah. I'm glad he got it. And look, I'll tell you, I feel like Kentucky's been on fire. I feel like we've killed so many big bucks this year. Let's watch a video here. That's a good video, too. Oh, he was replying to a comment. Oh, it's my bad. Yeah, I can't see if it's a reply or if it's to me. My bad. Let's see here. Let's look at this video from Michael. I think it was Michael. I can't see right now. Can y'all see that? It won't let me. Hold on a second. There we go. Let me start it over. It should just keep playing. Now that's a nice buck. You know, we shouldn't have showed Joe's buck first, I guess, because now every buck that comes after it is kind of like, yeah, it's okay. But that's a killer buck right there. I mean, I don't think anyone here is going to pass that up, are they? Now, look, my man Paul Priest said, he said you can treat an elk like a deer if it's out of the zone. You can bait deer. So I need to look that up, Paul. I'm not sure. I shouldn't have said that. I'm not sure. But Paul here, we showed his deer that he's after last week. My goodness, it's a nice one too. But yeah, that deer right there. I mean, let me ask you this. This deer in this video right? You see, it's, got a little hump in its back. Its belly's pretty thick there. How old do you think that buck is in that video? I'm not good at that. I'm not even going to guess. So let's. What do you guys think? How old do you think that buck is? 3 year old? Okay, I thought he might be a little older than that, Chris. I didn't know. Chris says 3. Come on. Who else can put an age on this buck? Thanks, Joe. Now we all got small deer. Yeah, man, Joe just ruined it. I can kill the biggest deer of my life, and I'm just gonna go back and look at that picture and say, well, it's not the deer Joe showed me. 5, 4.5, 3.5. Okay, we're all over the place on this one a little bit. Daniel's like me. I don't know. I'm just gonna say 5. Sure, works for me. Gary says 3.5. Okay, so we're 3.5 to 5 so far. Who else? What do you think? How old is this deer? And we're going to go in just a minute. I got to do the dishes. 4.5, Gordy says. Scott says 3.5. PK is going the under, right? He's betting the under 2.5. I don't know. There's no F saying it. It's a pretty deer, though. It's a great video. Those, was it Michael that sent this? Well, now quit sharing it. We'll go to the next one. Michael, if you're still on here, those Wise Eye cameras seem to be really good. I want your review on those. 4.5, 4.5. Okay. So we got a lot of 3.5, 4.5 there. Let's see what else we got. We got a couple more, I think. If you send me a picture, I don't get to it. I just accidentally overlooked it. Here's a good picture for those of you who hunt Fort Knox. Okay. Alex Mullins, look here. Alex Mullins, we like to call him the Potato King. Now he's got his hair, he doesn't really look like that. He's usually wearing a hat, but we call him the Potato King. This man, if you go to Walmart and buy potatoes, it's this man probably hired the truck to get it there. And he's also a Pike County boy. And he's a good buddy of mine now. He works with me. And Alex, we already talked. Everybody want to know about the apples that I had spill. They thought they were my apples. I even had people messaging me, be like, "Hey man, are you going to sell those apples? I'll buy them from you." I wish 20 grand of apples. I'd sell them to you for 10 and be thrilled. But Alex keeps telling me he's going to come on the show and comment. I'm so glad. Actually, Alex, I'll probably quote some lanes right here. Business never stops, brother. You got to pay for this hunting habit. Look at this picture right here. If you hunt Fort Knox, this is a very nice deer, but a very questionable deer. Now, this is not at Fort Knox. This is Chris. This is a picture Chris sent me. It's a deer that I would shoot. It's really narrow, though. So Fort Knox, 12 inches. It has to have a 12-inch spread for it to be legal. PK, this is one, brother. If you saw that coming across your line of sight, whew, it's a nice one. But would you shoot it? Because if it's 11.5 inches with that spread, I don't know. You're going to get fined. What do you guys think? Joe says no. PK says, meh, whack it. Joe says no. Just what's that? I told John, I think that's a reply to the comment. So what do you guys think? I mean, shooting, taking penalty. Yeah, maybe. I bet you he'll pass. I think he would pass 2. I think he would pass 2 because I think that's enough to exceed the 12 inches. But in the heat, but we're looking at a photo. In the heat of the moment, you got to decide what you're going to do, right? So, that's not right. Is that it, Chris? Hold on. He said to share the nighttime one too. Hold on. All right. Is that the same buck, Chris? Ooh, this one makes it look even closer. This one makes it look even closer to the 12 inches. Look at this, PK. What do you think? If that's the same buck. Now, that was just 3 nights ago. He's at least 14. Okay. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, looking at the picture, you're like, yeah, sorry, looking at the picture, you're like, yeah, that thing's going to pass. But man, in the heat of the moment, you're usually measuring by outside the ears. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. But I think outside spread, I think 12 inches. I think he would be good. But if he walks in front of me, that's a tough call. That's a tough call. I mean, that's one of the closest ones I've seen. That's a buck that would shoot. That would shoot. He would probably be 12, but not in the moment. Right. That's what I'm saying. That's a tough one. Bub says Pennsylvania has a law where a buck must have 4 on one side. I think that is a bunch of crap. Well, I mean, maybe. Seems like a pretty good. I guess the brow time counts, so it's got to be an 8 pointer, I guess. So, I don't know. Seems like a pretty good rule. I bet people in Kentucky would like that. What about like for youth and stuff like that? I wonder. I don't know. Let's see here. What we got? Okay, got 2 here. I think this might round it out right here, guys, and then we'll call it out. We've had a good audience tonight, man. It's been a great show. Listen. Some of you have been on here for an hour and 20 minutes. I just appreciate you. I really do. It means the world. So Joe says here's a couple of his little bucks he has. They are small bucks, but look, tons of potential there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pointer there. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one looks like it's missing a brow tine on its right antler. That's a nicer one there too. What do you guys think? That one's definitely the one I would shoot, right? That one looks older. Let's see. Chris says no, he doesn't like the four tines on the side rule. He says no. I've seen 2 giant 6 points, passed on one, have kicked myself ever since. No 4-point rule is not great. Hey, Chris, I'm just trying to stir the conversation, brother. I agree with you now, Chris. You've convinced me. It's not a great rule. It's actually a crap rule, bub. I'm on your side. Chris convinced me. So that is a great 9. Let's see. It has been great. Made my ride home from Pennsylvania not so bad. I don't know what he's talking about. Erica says I'd like for them to cross paths while I'm in the hills. There you go. All right. I think that is the last one. Anthony said my cams are going crazy right now. Justin Lee, are you seeing pics? I've not even checked the cameras that I have. They're not mine. They're everybody else's. Let's see. Anyone else? I showed Michael's. I showed Chris's. Bub's. PK. PK, I don't think I showed yours. Oh, look. Listen, PK, we posted this on our page because PK is one of our best friends in the whole world. But he just wants us to share it again. And you know what? The 42 people watching, look at that. That's a nice buck. Now that will pass at Fort Knox. That's a good one. PK, I hope I get one out there, my friend. I hope this year I get one at Fort Knox. And I hope I can call you and say, hey, brother, come help me drag this buck out of unit wherever I'm at, right? I'm so happy for you, PK. All right, fellas, it has been good. It has been nice talking to you tonight. I apologize that our friend Kyle Sam's birthday is tomorrow. Wish him a happy birthday. Tell him we missed him on the show. His wife threw him a surprise birthday party. Couldn't be here. But if you have questions about CWD, feel free to put them in the comments. Oh, we got one more question. Hold on. We do have one more question, but wow, it's way up here. We definitely have more than 350. We got a lot of comments. So my brother had this question, and I'm not going to find it on here. I got a question for all you deer enthusiasts. He wants to know. He's got some funky looking bucks on his property. I got you, Scott. He's got some funky looking bucks on his property. And he thinks they probably have some bad genetics. Like they just have, their antlers just funky. Nothing big, small, but he's got some really good deer too. Is there such a thing as culling those deer that might have bad genetics in hopes of growing better deer? Now, you'll hear people say, oh, that's a cull buck, right? That's a cull buck. But I've seen a lot of stuff, people who are much smarter than me say there's really not such thing as a cull buck. They don't exist. You're not going to improve your genetics by removing that buck. Um, Josh, send it to our group chat on Messenger. You're not going to improve the genetics by killing a certain buck. So what do you guys think? Is there such thing as a cull buck? If you got a buck that's stunted growth or it's weird and you don't want it to pass on those genes, should you take it for the sake of removing it? I don't know the answer to that. At one point, I believed that, but now I've seen so much against it that I don't really believe it. So I don't know. So just wondering what you guys think. Gordy says he loves a funky rack. Yeah, but these are pretty small, like 4-pointers, I think. I don't know. There's so much coming from the does as well. See, that's the thing. Now, I've been telling him, like our uncle went down there last weekend and hunted 35 deer. He has 35 deer come in 2 days. Josh is overrun with does. So I've been telling him from the very beginning, and this is not my opinion. This is the opinion of people I watch and read and listen to. You got to thin those does out. If you want better bucks, if you want more bucks, you have to thin those does out. That's what every deer expert, every big time hunter will tell you. And so I've been telling him that. So he's going to start doing that, I believe. But yeah, the genetics also come from the doe. So you can't really look at a doe and tell, right, what it's going to do. So Philip says genetics do matter, but it's also about the nutrients in the life of the deer, making sure they're not injured and they're healthy at birth, because that's usually what affects their hard growth the most. I believe that 100%. Philip, I think you're right. Chris says, not unless you take the doe that gave birth. Can't do it on small properties. So, his property's 60 acres. He owns part of it, and another guy owns most of it. But it's about 60 acres what he hunts, I think. I could be off on that. But now, as far as the deer who are there, there's farms everywhere. And so you say they hunt 60 acres, but those deer have access to hundreds of acres. So Scott says, take them out, Josh. If they aren't getting better, we did several years ago, and a farm made a difference. Okay, there you go. Anecdotal. To me, I say yes, take it out. PK says, from what I hear, those grow into giants. Oh, yeah, you could say, hey, just give them time, see what happens. I don't know if I got that picture though, Josh. I don't see it. Josh, I don't see the picture coming through, bud. I don't see it. But while we're waiting, here's a funky racked buck. I'm trying to say that. Here's a funky one. If you got to go, guys, we understand. Look at that. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool one. I want to try to find this photo. Holy cow, got so many notifications. Can't find it. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's just a good question to talk about. If Kyle was going to be on here, we were going to ask him that question about culling a buck, but we never know. So, guys, listen, I appreciate you. I love you. So glad you're here. We'll be back next Tuesday. I'm not going to tell you there's going to be a guest on because you know what? They just let me down sometimes. But I can promise you one thing. This old boy right here, this October 29th, I'm going to be here. We're going to talk Halloween hunting, November hunting, gun hunt. We're going to talk about all things because, guys, it's becoming the best time of the year. And look, it comes and goes so quickly. I remember it being June and being like, okay, here in a month or so, we're going to get cameras up. Can't wait till September. Guys, it's November in 10 days, I think. 10 days is November. I'm looking right now for comments. 10 days is November. Let's see what we got. Oh, boy, we got 400. Listen. You guys really outdid yourself. Now we already have 2,300 views, which is insane. But we got 493 comments. 493. I feel like I need to do more than this. I've got a drill sitting over there. I've got this is all I got for now. Okay. Next week we'll do something better. Guys, 493 comments. How am I going to choose? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go random.org. Okay. And I'll share this. These are the best calls, right? Billy's a friend of mine. The best calls. So, now you guys have already done more than 493. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share this screen right here. All right. Can you see that? I did 1 through 500. Okay. 1 through 500. Now I'm going to click generate. Whatever number shows up right there, that's who's. I'm going to go to my page. I'm going to count the comments. Now look, if you count on yours, it might be different. So don't go by that. I'm going to count the comments, and the number I get to. That's funny. Gordy says Billy will win. That's funny. If Billy wins, we'll redo it. But we'll see who lands on. Here we go. We're gonna go 510 because you guys keep commenting. And the number is, oh God, I was hoping it's gonna be like 17. I gotta count 328 comments. All right, guys, it's gonna take me a little time, but I'm gonna count. As soon as we get off here, I'm gonna count 328 comments. I'm gonna go reply to that comment and say, guess what? You were the 328th comment, and you win a Turkey Hunting USA split V mouth call. Then I'm gonna do another comment that says, "Hey, so and so won the split V mouth call." So I'm not gonna sit here and count while you guys are watching, but I'll do that right now. I promise. Kelby Browning, if you were on here tonight, excuse me, I'm going to put your predator calls in the mail tomorrow. I promise you, even if I have to be late getting back from lunch at work, I'll do it. And 328th comment, you're getting this in the mail, and you have to send me this. So anyway, you're out of toes. Oh yeah, that's funny. I was wondering why you said take off your shoes. Hey guys, listen, appreciate you. You guys are the best. We have the best community, the best show, the best everything going. More people just need to know about it, right? But I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Have a good week. Go out there, shoot straight this weekend. Bring us pictures next weekend so we can celebrate it. And we'll see you next Tuesday night.